And what's up, gang? SmackDown has begun to book their matches for Survivor Series. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because there is evil afoot. There is a great evil taking place on SmackDown, and it is being headed by the Tribal Chief. And I may be the only man powerful enough to stop him. Who am I? I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am the Bathammer. And you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Review and Reaction Show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
The Tribal Chief and his cousin are still the hottest story on SmackDown. By far the best thing to be watching on tonight's episode of SmackDown. The rest of the show, not so much. The wrestling quality was very, very good. We got a lot of great matches tonight on SmackDown, but most of it is being promoting the Survivor Series event, which is not what they're claiming it is. Oh, it's the one time a year that the SmackDown and the... Stop with that verbal garbage. We all have been alive for the last few weeks. We have not forgotten just 2 weeks ago and the 3 weeks ago and the whole entire summer ever since the pandemic, and even before that, when the brands were crossing over and we were having matches, interpromotional matches. But this is the one time a year. Get out of here with that garbage. We have got to get used to it. We got to suck that shit down and brush it off, because we are going to continue to hear it over and over and over again. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. I'm actually Nick Nightmare. That guy at the start of the show, I don't know where he came from. I had to chase him out of here. But hey, the Bathammer is could be useful. Could be useful to this show in the future. We'll see what happens with that. But now I'm here, and it's time to get down to business. Just like SmackDown decided to get down to business with the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, coming out to deal out the consequences, dish out the consequences to his cousin. This show started out with such an emotional segment between these two guys. Jey Uso literally brought to tears and was so passionate and was so full of anger that he actually told his cousin, "I hate you, Us. I hate you." He hates Roman Reigns for what he has done. He still, at this moment, at the start of the show, would not bow down in front of him. He would not acknowledge him as the Tribal Chief. And Roman Reigns gave him an ultimatum and told him, by the end of the night, you will acknowledge me. You will claim that I'm the Tribal Chief by this night's end. There was so much intensity that was being built up in that opening segment. There was no way the rest of the show was going to be able to follow it. The sheer connection between these two guys and the family thing that they got going on is just so real. It's so real. You could relate to it. I can relate to it. Every single family has those two people in it that just don't get along and bring a lot of tension. So you know what family tension is like. And it's uncomfortable. And it's emotional. And you feel like you need to take sides. And what kind of a mark did Jey Uso make tonight just with that opening promo? Never mind his main event match with Daniel Bryan, which we will get to in a few short minutes. But the whole thing that he was trying to say to Roman Reigns, why he hated him. Because he knew that Jey wasn't going to give up. Roman knew what he had to do, and he did it with intent. He knew the only way to get Jey to quit was going to be to hurt Jimmy. And the fact that he used that against him was just something that Jey Uso could not live with. He obviously cannot live with it. And he still firmly believes that he would never have given up that night if not put in that position. But Roman Reigns still claiming he loves his cousin. He's giving him this one final opportunity to come to his senses. And by the end of the night, man, did he ever come to his senses. The main event matchup between Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan was a qualifying match to see who would move on to Survivor Series. So automatically you're thinking, like I was thinking, Roman's probably going to get involved, cost Jey Uso the match. That would further some consequences. You know, you did this, you didn't bow down, and now I had to teach you another lesson. And that's not at all what we got. What we got was a great matchup between Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan that should have gotten a lot more time. They should have gave these guys at least 15, 20 minutes and limited commercial break because their action in the match was fantastic. It was really good. Talk about putting a stamp on it. Jey Uso really proved that he's got single-star capability in that matchup with Daniel Bryan tonight. And it doesn't hurt to be in the ring with Daniel Bryan, who's one of the best in the world at what he's doing. But man, I was really surprised by the ending and how Jey Uso got the win over Daniel Bryan clean without any interference from Roman Reigns, only to turn around and claim that Roman is the head of the table. I'm with you, Us. I'm with you, he said on multiple occasions. And then to prove his loyalty, Roman Reigns sent, I almost was going to say sucked. Roman Reigns did not suck at all, but he told Jey Uso, he's like, sick him. That's what I was trying to say, if you want to follow along. He sent Jey Uso to destroy Daniel Bryan, and man, did he ever. In a beatdown that we have not seen Daniel Bryan take in quite some time, which culminated with a table spot that looked absolutely brutal. And I actually think Jey Uso got the worst of it as he came off the top rope. I think he caught the corner of the table right in his Usos. You know what I mean? I hope he's okay. That shit looked like it hurt, but props to these two guys for throwing it all out there and planting the seed for what could go down to be WWE's best WrestleMania match in quite some time. If they go down this road and continue it properly, this is a great way to start Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. There was no need for Roman to have Jey Uso do that other than the simple fact that he wanted to. When he opens his mouth and he speaks, he's just got a different tonality to him. And yeah, clowns, I know this is the same Roman Reigns that isn't the greatest wrestler in the world, the same Roman Reigns that we were complaining about just a short few months ago because we couldn't stomach him in this babyface role, in the come-from-behind role and beating everybody John Cena style because Vince McMahon loved him so much. This is not that Roman Reigns. This is different. The change in the character and the emotion that he can evoke from you gives him a pass on not being the greatest wrestler of all time. But he certainly has gotten better. He's added that guillotine to his repertoire. And I'm excited when he comes out right now because he's got the best story going on SmackDown. The same cannot be said for Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy and Rey Mysterio and this whole nonsense. This whole storyline with him and Aaliyah, regardless of the fact that they made out tonight at the end of the little segment, which was just a bunch of chaos, really. It's just boring to me. It's boring to me. It's been going on for so long. Never mind the fact of the age difference between Murphy and Aaliyah. 11 years between the two. She's still just a teenager. He's a man in his 30s. It seems inappropriate. Push that to the side. Let's take that out of the equation. Let's look at it as a television angle, right? The fact of the matter is we've been seeing this since before WrestleMania, this feud between Rollins and Mysterio, and any time any of those people involved in that angle make their way to the ring, I'm just bored. I'm immediately, completely bored. This angle does not have the same emotional weight to it as Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And I know that's what they want us to feel. They want us to be empathetic for Aaliyah. She's in love with Mr. Murphy. And her dad doesn't like it. Tiny dad's all upset. Her giant baby son brother, he doesn't like it. And it's really kind of stupid at this point if you think about it. Buddy Murphy has turned against Seth Rollins at every single opportunity. Has he not? Don't you think at some point these guys got to turn around and be like, hey, maybe this guy's turned a new leaf? Look at tonight. Buddy Murphy tonight wanted to come out and apologize to the Mysterio family. And they wouldn't even come out to talk to him. Instead, we got the Friday Night Savior coming down to do the same old shit, running down Buddy Murphy, but then telling him, listen, I will accept you guys. I'll allow you guys to get married if that's what you want. And he's just trying to bring a wedge further in between Aaliyah and her family and putting them in this awkward situation. And then he attacks Seth Rollins. Dominic Mysterio comes out from the back, attacks Seth Rollins. Buddy Murphy is trying to assist Dominic. He's beating down on Seth Rollins. Everybody's beating up Seth Rollins. Then they start beating up each other. Then Rey Mysterio comes out because he's beating up his giant baby son. And Tiny Dad needs to get revenge on Buddy Murphy now. And we got this whole thing that's just kind of forced at this point because it doesn't make any sense. Here's a man, regardless of his intentions with your teenage daughter, here's a man that wants to make amends for the shit he's put you through. And you're not even giving him a chance to talk to you. Even though for the last few weeks, he's been on your side. And he's turned against Seth Rollins, who orchestrated everything that he did. He didn't do these things of his own volition. He did it because the Savior told him to. So it just continues. And now what are we going to get? A triple threat match? Dominic versus Murphy versus Seth? I'm done with it. I'm tired of seeing it. We were all very hopeful that Seth Rollins' move to SmackDown was going to be his simultaneous move out of this storyline. But that certainly is not the case. So obviously this was not as good. I don't care that they kissed. I don't care about anything that happened. I was pretty much watching with one eye. Almost like I just had it on in the background. I wasn't even really paying attention. When she kissed him, she kissed him. Why is this 19-year-old girl wearing mom jeans, by the way? And just let's hit it with a dose of reality just for a second. In case you're living under a rock, you might not be aware that Buddy Murphy used to date Alexa Bliss. And the perception of his character, now I know this isn't real life, the perception of his character is, he used to date this, and now he's going to date a teenage girl that looks like she hasn't even finished maturing yet. She's a beautiful young lady, don't get me wrong. But it just looks awkward, the whole thing is boring, and I'm done with it. Just like I'm done with the tag team division. You switched the New Day with the Street Profits to do what? To have the Street Profits do exactly what the New Day were doing? Making that whole scenario feel less than special. It feels like we're just on repeat. If you think about it, the Street Profits and the New Day have very similar gimmicks. They're good time guys. They're jokey tag teams. They like to have fun, but when they get in the ring, they can throw down. No disrespect, I'm just saying, this is the same shit. It's the same exact match. Because there are no other tag teams. The only other tag team around is Rude and Ziggler, and they had them busy in a singles thing to see if Dolph Ziggler could qualify for the Survivor Series team. And what's the point of Dolph Ziggler? I really don't understand. I don't understand. He goes out there tonight one-on-one with Kevin Owens. Winner gets to be on the Survivor Series team for SmackDown. And he loses. Obviously, we knew he was going to lose. There was no way that wasn't going to happen. But it's just got to suck for Dolph Ziggler. I'm actually starting to feel bad for Ziggles because he's a guy that when he has regular matches, he loses and loses and loses. And then they put him in the Raw dumping ground, that garbage dumpster fire of a skit that is right now missing and hopefully missing forever. But he was like the all-star of the underground. He's kicking the shit out of all these guys 2 times his size, and then as soon as he gets into a real WWE ring, he's just a perennial loser. He puts on a great match. He sells fantastically, but he just keeps looking up at the lights, and you have no reason to latch on to a character like Dolph Ziggler. You see him come out, you know the other guy's gonna get the win. Rightfully so in this case. Why wouldn't we want Kevin Owens on the SmackDown team? So Kevin Owens won in the opening matchup of the night against Dolph Ziggler. It was a good match. It's not that it was a bad match. I just didn't really care for having to see Dolph Ziggler. If you're going to use him this way, why did you pair him back up with Bobby Roode? Just things don't make sense. Really good match, but hey, it was Ziggler, so you knew where it was going. Predictable. What wasn't very predictable was Corey Graves' interview with Lars Sullivan. This thing went off the rails in a big way. Here's this gigantic man who Michael Cole keeps calling a freak. Eat the freak, eat the freak, freak. Right? Every 30 seconds. Freak, not even less. Every 3 seconds. Freak, Michael, it's the freakish strength from the freak. That's my Michael Cole impression when Lars Sullivan is in the ring. I feel like it's pretty accurate. Corey Graves asks this guy if he likes being called a freak. Who likes being called a freak? Nobody does, right? It's not really an endearing term. It's not something that you would say to your boo. Hey, well, maybe you would, because some people are a freak in the bedroom. You know, maybe you go, hey, baby, you're a little freak. You know, you're a freak. But you wouldn't be like, go, you're a freak. You're the freakish freak. You did that freaking thing with the ass, and it was the freak and the freak. I'm going off the rails just as bad as this interview went off the rails, because let's try to summarize this in a very easy way. Lars Sullivan claims that he was being bullied. Right? And instead of the story you think you're going to hear, which is, oh, these guys picked on me, they called me a freak, and then I freaking destroyed them. No, we didn't get this. Lars Sullivan's sitting out there telling us that he cried. Oh, they picked on me, and I cried. I cried. And they laughed because I cried. And the teachers laughed because I cried. And then they stopped crying, and they were screaming. It was just so underwhelming. And he didn't even get mad at, like, Corey Graves. Remember when they actually used to do these right back in the day? And you had JR interviewing Mankind, and it would get so intense because the superstar would just flip out, and then he would end up putting JR in the mandible claw at the end of it. Or when we had Triple H and JR doing that. It's the same type of situation. You got the guy talking to the new star and you want to build him up, right? And Triple H, that's where he got the moniker I am the game, JR, because he got all hyped up and he got overly amped and he was even dropping F-bombs. It was real, it was emotional, it was a passionate plea from a superstar. Same can be said for JR and Kane. JR had a one-on-one with Kane. The man ended up getting set on fire. Corey Graves didn't even get flicked. It's just weird. This segment would have been more effective if Corey Graves said, do you like being called a freak? And then he flipped out because he doesn't like to be called a freak. And now we could see him shut up Michael Cole. And Michael Cole's going to instinctively freak, and maybe he's going to get his ass kicked. You could make so much with that, I guess. But this was very, very underwhelming. I thought it was kind of silly. After that, we had a triple threat Women's Survivor Series qualifying match. Bianca Belair versus Natalya versus Billie Kay. They might as well have just named Bianca Belair to this, because this match was okay, I guess, but Billie Kay's involvement, I guess, was unnecessary. And let's think about this for a second. How many women are actually on the roster? You got Bayley and Sasha, they're not going to be part of the Survivor Series team, right? You got Bianca Belair, Natalya, and Billie Kay. And you got Carmella, who's untouchable now and had her own real weird promo that was kind of stupid. And who else is there? That's like 6 girls. You need a team of 5. Who am I missing? Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler can't both be on the same team. Didn't Naomi go to Raw? I don't even remember where anybody is anymore. Oh, we got the Riot Squad, right? So there you go. Why do they need to qualify? The Raw girls didn't need to qualify, only Lana did. And that's a fluke in and of itself. So who else is going to be qualifying? There's only 5 girls to pick. So this was kind of senseless. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous booking here. Then we had the Murphy apology to Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic, which didn't happen. Seth Rollins interjected, and all hell broke loose, and I still don't care. After this, we had an interview with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was getting ready for his match with Jey Uso, and he noted that Roman Reigns couldn't beat Jey Uso at Sunday's Hell in a Cell this past Sunday. But that doesn't change his game plan at all. And he's prepared for the very best of Jey Uso. Also, to Daniel Bryan's credit, earlier in the week, I believe he was on Talking Smack, or he was on some interview show where or maybe it was the preview show for Hell in a Cell. I'm not sure where it happened, but he was on record saying that this is going to be his last year, his last full run with the WWE, and he himself knows the right thing to do, and he wants to put over the younger stars. Technically, Jey Uso has been around. He's not really a younger star, but he's a new person in the singles division, so Daniel Bryan definitely wanting to put over somebody else, as he's notably going to be on his way out, and he proved that tonight by losing clean to Jey Uso in the main event. And I have to give him credit for that. Daniel Bryan, great wrestling mind, knows what's best for business, and it's just fine. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, defeated Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in a match that I'm pretty sure I seen them have with the New Day just a couple of weeks ago. It was very, very similar. And I just feel like the tag team division continues to be a dead issue. And there's just no reason to care about anything happening with the tag teams in the WWE. Sami Zayn was in the back. Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn is going to be taking on the United States Champion Bobby Lashley at the upcoming Survivor Series event. He said he's the only person worthy of defending the Intercontinental Championship because he actually represents every person on every single continent around the globe. Whereas Lashley is only representing the United States, and, well, you know how things are over here in the States right now. He pretty much told us we're a piece of trash without actually saying those words. Fucking brilliant promo by Sami Zayn. He says he's going to prove that the Intercontinental Champion is greater than the United States Champion. And we, as wrestling fans, all collectively feel that that is exactly the case. We know that that is true. WWE seems to have forgotten. Vince McMahon has forgotten because they've been shitting all over the Intercontinental Championship since before they changed the belt to the AEW lookalike knockoff belt, which I still hate. I prefer the old design, and I think I always will. But Sami Zayn beating Bobby Lashley at the Survivor Series is a highly, highly unlikely scenario. The way the WWE has been booking the Hurt Business and the way they look at them and see something special and their main storyline on Raw, I absolutely believe those are going to be one of the matches that goes to the red brand. I hope not. I hope that they have the sense to give the win to Sami Zayn. Maybe it's because of retribution. Who cares? I just want to see Sami Zayn in the Intercontinental Championship elevated up a little bit because it deserves it. It needs to be given back a little bit more focus to the Intercontinental Championship. Or else why even bother having it? Doesn't make sense. Sasha Banks and Bayley, little segment. Sasha Banks came out looking like a golden statue. Absolutely fine as F. And was celebrating her win. She had Bayley's little chair. And her promo was lackluster, I would say. It was very scripted. You know, I am the greatest, and I am this, and I am that. And then Bayley came out, and things got a little bit heated. Bayley claimed that she is going to unseat Sasha Banks because Sasha Banks can win titles all she wants. We all know The fans know, Sasha knows, that she can't hold on to a title and that she's never successfully defended a championship in her title defenses. So Bayley wants to take advantage of this and challenges her to a match at, I think, next week's SmackDown for the Women's Championship once again. I don't mind this as much because this is one of the problems with them doing the interpromotional thing for Survivor Series. You can't do anything on TV because you want to respect your brand split at this point, so you can't really build the match between Sasha and Asuka. So you have to give a filler feud in the meantime, and they're just going to extend what we've already seen. And the only thing that's really going to suck about Sasha versus Bayley in this rematch coming up is that it's going to be on SmackDown. Not because SmackDown's a bad show, but because it's going to be filled with commercials and will probably be given some sort of a fuck finish as to not make Bayley look like trash and lose so concretely 2 weeks or 2 matches in a row, rather. But do you think they take the belt off Sasha? I don't think they do it this time. And if they do, I want to know why. I would want to know. There would be no reason to do it other than the fact that they just don't like the girl. So I hope that's not the case. Because the last thing we need is to see Bayley versus Asuka. I would much rather see Sasha Banks versus Asuka at the Survivor Series. Bayley made a good point, though, is that she never actually wanted to sign the contract. She wasn't agreeing to the matchup, and she was forced to sign the contract under duress because of the way Sasha assaulted her at the contract signing. So, you know, she's got a little bit of a loophole, a little bit of a point here, and I'm not too thrilled to be getting a rematch, especially a rematch of this caliber with so much at stake on free television. But, you know, Sasha's already booked versus Asuka, so where else are they going to do it? They got to do it on SmackDown. But they got to do something, right? They got to do something with Sasha. They can't just let her walk around for the next 3 weeks doing nothing. I guess this is better than that. Speaking of doing nothing, we didn't see anything at all of Otis. Otis, who was turned on by his best buddy and then attacked him after the incident at Hell in a Cell, losing the Money in the Bank contract to The Miz, and now he's just off TV? No interview segment, nothing? No promo for him to say how he wants to get revenge on Tucker? Is Tucker on SmackDown now or not? What is going on with that? I guess Otis is being flushed down the tubes with everybody else. Vince McMahon's really high on Otis. Well, it shows because now Otis is gone. Otis is gone. And then we ended the show with the Men's Survivor Series qualifying matchup. Jey Uso defeating Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns coming out halfway through this matchup, which we all thought was going to make this have a completely different ending. But they shocked me here. They got me here. Usually I'm one step ahead of them, but this time they swerved me. And they had them unite at the end of this night. If I had one criticism, everything is open for criticism here. If I had one criticism of what they did here, is I want to know what changed his mind. What changed Jey Uso's mind during the 2-hour episode of SmackDown? He opened the show saying he hates his cousin, screaming it to him, that he's pissed at him for putting him in that position. And then nothing happened between them the rest of the show. He beats Daniel Bryan on his own. And then's like, all right, I love you too, Oos. I'm with you. I'm with you. I understand now. Now I understand. What made him understand? What happened there? That's the one little loophole we're missing. It's one little logic gap that needs to be filled. Hopefully next week, when he gets a live microphone, he explains his thought process to make it make a little bit more sense. But other than that, I love everything they're doing here. I can't talk about it enough. If you're not watching SmackDown, you got to start watching it because Roman Reigns, I almost said Ray. No, Ray you don't need to watch. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are just killing it. Best thing in the WWE right now, by far, and damn it, it's about time. It's good to know they can still actually write segments. I don't care who's behind it. Just keep it going, because it's great. And the one thing I want you guys to take note of tonight as well is there was little to no interaction or words spoken by Paul Heyman, which furthers my point that he is completely and totally unnecessary, and to me, he's actually bringing it down just a little bit. Roman Reigns and his words, his performance, his acting, his facials don't need Paul Heyman to sell me on the fact that he's so evil that he brought out the Bat Hammer tonight to defend Daniel Bryan and the rest of SmackDown from the new power that is rising, which is going to be the Samoan Dynasty, the Samoan Mafia. Call it anything you want, just don't call it the Bloodline. Please, don't call it the Bloodline. Call it the family. Call them the Samoan Dynasty. Call them the Samoan Mafia. Those are three beautiful names. Do not go with the Bloodline. It's cheesy. This isn't 1989. You can't get that shit over anymore. That's a terrible name. It's a terrible name for a great faction. It's going to be something sick. And the only reason anybody really needs to be watching SmackDown. Aside from if you want to see Sasha Banks and her sexiness doing her wrestling thing, beating Bailey's big old butt. I don't know why he said that last sentence. That is so unlike me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the spirits in the air because it's Halloween. And I hope you guys have a safe and happy Halloween. If ever there was a day to wear a mask, this is it. So put your fucking mask on. Even if you don't have a Halloween mask, put your COVID protector mask on. Keep everybody around you safe. If you're going trick-or-treating, I don't know anybody that's going trick-or-treating. I know everything's going backwards and another step backwards. But hey, listen, everybody stay safe. All right? And get candy from a safe place. Stuff your face. Have a nice Halloween party all by yourself tomorrow night, or, with that one other person you live with, or whatever your case may be. Have a great Halloween night. For some of you guys, I guess that's tonight. For some of you guys, it's going to be tomorrow. Whatever. Just be safe, be happy, and be back here Monday night for the Monday Night Raw review as we bring the hammer down on WWE content like nobody else does. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. Thank you to Bat Hammer for showing up at the start of the show, and the most important member of this team, each and every one of you. So now it's time for you to do your part. If you enjoyed today's review in any way, smash that thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and becoming one of the members of the newest, coolest faction in all of the YouTube wrestling community. As we are inching closer to 3,000 subs, you could make that an even bigger possibility by hitting that subscribe button right now. Share this video with anybody you think will get a kick out of it. And as always, hit me up in the comments down below. What did you like about SmackDown? How much do you love Roman and Jey Uso right now? Am I delusional? I don't think so. I just know what's good and what's bad, and that's why you guys come to me. Because you trust me, and I trust you to do the right thing. So do your thing. Thumbs up, sub, share, all the stuff that the watchers do, and I'll keep doing the things that the creators do. If you want to check out my Inktober adventures, you could take a look at it all at Nick_Nightmare on my Instagram account. There is 1 day left. 31 pictures in 31 days, and tomorrow is the last one, and you can check it out on my Instagram profile. I have it highlighted there. You can go through all 30 pictures, or you can just check out my posts. Let me know what you think of them all. They're pretty worth your time. I've been kicking some serious ass with the pen and paper right now, and I hope you guys check that out. If you want to follow me on the Instagram, you could do that as well, at Nick Nightmare is that. And don't forget to watch anything you may have missed, including our review of Monday Night Raw this week, our review of Hell in a Cell, and anything else that might tickle your fancy wrestling-wise. It's all right there in the annotations up above. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Happy Halloween. Boo.